Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Sal's House. We are live at TSE Buffalo once again. Love this particular spot and place because they're doing so much awesome stuff, not only for the community, but for you, the Buffalo sports fan out there. Come on down, 3170 Orchard Park Road. There's a public signing going on today. When I say public signing, that means you do not need a ticket to come here. You do need a ticket, though, to get an item signed by Max Harrison's going to be here. Deion Walker was going to be here, and Doug Flutie, Heisman Trophy winner, is going to be here. But also with me today, my buddy Carl Jones from Channel 4 WIVB TV. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed to be here, man. It's good weather outside. Can't complain. November this time of year, man. I'm just glad to be here and grateful to be in this beautiful venue here as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Listen, we really appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anybody wants to come in and comment in the chat box? I know it's a Saturday afternoon. You're probably bumping around. We already got Mark, who's right there. Mark, since you're the first one in, I'll ask you, just give me a thumbs up for how it sounds and looks on your end, so I don't have to make any adjustments and make sure that we're all good. There's Sandra also coming in. So we're going to have comments coming in at any point you want. You can do that. You can follow us along at Sal Sports on X and at
Jones11_ on X.
At Jones11_. Now, Carl, as you probably know, because we've talked about it before, he played defensive back at Syracuse University, so we have a lot in common. We will bleed orange. We'll talk a little bit about them today. I want to talk about the Bills and the Buccaneers. And if you're down here, all right, sounds a little choppy, audio a little choppy. Okay, well, we'll try and fix that as we go along here. If you're down here in the area, you want to come down here and be a part of the show, you can also basically get some items here. We're going to be giving away. Check this out. Mystery jerseys. You can actually win a mystery jersey, a signed jersey, and that will be you never know who you're going to get on some of the jerseys that are here. Okay, so you can open that up, a signed football, a signed mini helmet, and yeah, come on down because we got a lot to give away, and they're going to be giving away, and they're going to be having all of these guys signing here today. Okay, I want to thank not only TSE Buffalo, but of course our sponsors at the bottom there. You see them, Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. I'm actually going to head over there tonight. I got a buddy in town. He's a Florida State fan. Wants to watch the game. So we're going to go there tonight. Florida State, Virginia Tech. Not having the year they wanted to have.
I lived over there, and I'll tell you that I was there at least once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Love the honey drizzle on the pizza. Oh, my gosh. Actually, I'm going to go there tonight.
All right. You got it. All right. Thank you very much. Sound is a little better. I appreciate that. We'll work out the technical side of it over here. Want to thank, of course, Herbal IQ, 6300 Transit Road in Depew. They have a great space, great showroom, a New York State licensed dispensary. Check them out. They've been a big supporter of me as well. And, of course, right here, TSE Buffalo. That's Total Sports Enterprises. I want to show everybody here. Check this out, what we got going on in the showroom today. All right. There we go. All right. You see this now. People milling around. You're going to get a lot more people coming in as the day goes on because we have Doug Flutie here signing in the back. You saw him. How crazy is that operation back there? All this stuff they have.
Like a machine, like clockwork. I love to see that.
Doug Flutie, Heisman Trophy winner. If Doug Flutie walked in here, he's planning on joining us. If he walked in here right now and I said, there's a Heisman Trophy person and I want it, you would never pick him out.
Nah, he looked very regular back there. But having said that, knowing the history of college football and
yes.
the NFL, I got a little starstruck thinking about Doug Flutie and looking at him for a second. So I'm grateful to be in the same building as him today, to be quite frank.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so Carl, let's talk. This is a really, really big game for the Bills, and one of the biggest reasons is because they have not played as well as everybody wants them to play or thinks they should play on the offensive end. You've dug into the All-22. You've been tweeting out some videos. You've been showing a lot of different things. Is there one thing you've identified of a reason why maybe the passing game has struggled a little bit more than what people expect?
Yeah, I think there's a multitude of things. It's not necessarily as good as it is as you think it may be or as bad as you think either. I will say it's a combination of maybe Josh Allen not being as comfortable or as consistent with down-to-down things. I think the schematics from Joe Brady's perspective may not be as crisp. And then the wide receivers haven't done their 111, haven't done their just due as well. So I think it's a combination of all three. If I had to pie chart it out, probably more so receiver towards the coaching vantage point of things. But I don't think it's in some dire situation where it can't improve to where they can look much better this Sunday against the Bucs team, who does have a lot of talent. I really like their young pieces in the secondary. Benjamin Morrison, the rookie out of Notre Dame, has had a good year. And then obviously Big Boy Vita Vea in the middle is going to be a problem. But I don't see this as a situation where the passing game can at least get back somewhat on track.
I wonder about getting the running backs a little bit more involved, how much that could open things up. We saw that last week, 4 catches total for James Cook and Ty Johnson. It's something they did a lot of last year, Carl, and for some reason, it's just not the easy button that they've been pressing this year, even when teams are blitzing. And I'd like to maybe see them get back to that a little bit.
I think that Ravens game week 1, just a little pass to the flat to James Cook, he took him 55 yards, and I just thought like that would be more of an integral part to the offense. I will say, if you want to talk about the backs out of the backfield for this specific matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have allowed the most receiving yards to running backs this season, and I think that some of that is due to the fact they love the blitz.
Right.
Similar to that Falcons game, they're going to send guys from the parking lot, the sidelines. You're just going to be like, whoa, I didn't know that guy can blitz and get after Josh Allen. And the way that you slow those guys down is quick screen passes, quick hit, and get them involved this week.
Yeah, I think so too. Dalton Kincaid, though, being out is a big one for the Bills. So we know Dalton Kincaid is out. We know Fedarian Mathis is out. All right, so but the Bills do love to lean into their 13 personnel even, but more so even 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. That's going to be Jackson Hawes and Dawson Knox. But without Dalton Kincaid, that really changes the dynamic of this offense.
It does, and I think they'll still have success running the ball because I don't think Kincaid's blocking prowess in line was something that they leaned on. But in terms of a change-up, when you are into those big body personnels and the defense matches with their base and brings an extra linebacker out there, Dawson Kincaid was a mismatch. I mean, quite frankly, he's a mismatch even when the team's in nickel because he's better than a lot of teams in nickel in terms of the receiving game. So they're going to have to figure out ways to get Reggie Gilliam, Jackson Hawes, Dawson Knox involved in the passing game, vertically at least. We've seen Dawson Knox do it before, so this isn't foreign territory to him. But yeah, that's been their best personnel when they got those big boys on the field. As a DB, I love, like the space and play 7-on-7 ball, but it is cool to watch the Bills kind of throw it back a little bit and get a little grimy and get downhill a little bit. So it's fun to watch Jackson Hawes and Gilliam and Knox do their thing, especially in the run game.
Yeah, and I would say this, this team has to be able to still run the ball effectively given what we see on the schedule coming up, which is colder weather games, games in which they're going to have to want to lean on the run game to control it. And that's where the concern comes for me, which is you go back to the Kansas City game, Carl. They controlled the game, right? Even though it was 10-7, they were actually down 10-7. I never felt like Bills weren't in control when they were on the field. You get to the Miami game, they had to chase the game. Sean McDermott used that term too, chase the game. That to me, they just have not been able to play like that. And you think with Josh Allen, they can. Okay, so what do you got to do? You got to make sure you're in control of the game. That's no turnovers, good field position, leaves you less margin for error. But when they are in control of the game, that's when they're at their best.
So that's what this team is built to be at this point. I know a lot of people may not be satisfied with the receiver talent and they want more explosive weapons on the outside, but this is the bet that they're in at this point. You can't bring in A.J. Waddle at this point on November 15th. It is what it is. So you have to lean to your strengths, and your strengths are staying ahead of the 6, 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2, playing the game in that manner because they aren't built to live in this 3rd and 12, 3rd and 8 world. So I think that you got to establish the run, clean football in terms of penalties and turnovers like you mentioned. And I think that when I look at the success that they've had this year, they've always played ahead of the change in that way. The main difference between Kansas City and Miami, they just were behind the entire game in Miami. So they had to kind of rely on a passing game that hasn't been great this year in terms of the vertical essence of it.
Yeah.
So I think that is the number one important thing for this offense, make sure that you are able to run a rock on a Buccaneers team that has been good at this year. I would say stuff in the run. I know last week against the Patriots, they gave up a ton, but it was 2 explosive runs that kind of skews the statistics a little bit. Travion Henderson got out the gate twice on them. But it's going to be a difficult task, but I think that this team has shown in the past that they are able to run on just about anyone in the National Football League as long as the numbers are in their favor.
All right, we have a comment from Ryan. I actually think it's interesting. At least we can't give away that it's a pass everything to Kincaid game in this one, I guess, which is true. But let's talk about the return of Josh Palmer. What can Josh Palmer do for this offense returning? And we expect him to play. He's off the injury report, and he should be good to go.
I mean, he's going to bring a vertical presence to this offense at minimum. I think back to that Falcons game where I don't know if it was the first play or at least the first drive at minimum where they take a shot play down the field on a post route and he brings it in. And that's something that they've been lacking. That's not Keon Coleman's game. That's not Khalil Shakir's game. It hasn't been Curtis Samuel nor Elijah Moore's role in this offense either. There is proof of concept that the Bills trust Josh Palmer to utilize that part of the field. So at least at bare minimum, he can be a guy on the field that safeties have to respect. Like, hey, when 5 is out there, make sure that we're getting in our pedal a little bit and make sure that we keep a lid on the defense, which opens up space for everyone else out there on the offense. And then when they brought him here in the offseason, the number one thing was separation and coverage. And I think that although it wasn't obvious the first few weeks when he was out there, but I do think there's proof of concept dating back to his time in Los Angeles that he can be that type of player because outside of him, they don't, especially without Kincaid, they don't have that guy who is a mismatch in that type of manner.
I wanted to show everybody everybody what's going on here. I want to flip this camera over just a little bit so I can show you. Look at this. How about that? Okay, there's the show. Let me see everybody coming on. Say hi. You're on. Everybody's on video here. Hi. How are you? All right, coming over. Hope nobody's shy, camera shy. We're come on in. We're at TSE Buffalo, 3170 Orchard Park Road. Come on down. We are not far from the stadium. Lots of great places to come down, have some lunch. And Buddy's Second Chance Rescue is here. That's right, where we got Bernie from a few weeks ago. Bernie, our great beauties. Buddy is here. Buddy's Second Chance Rescue. Come on down. I saw Khalil Shakir. He does a lot with Buddy's Second Chance Rescue, and of course he has his adoption, charity and auction. What he does for them. So it's great. By the way, somebody says audio is terrible. I apologize. We're going to try and fix that on my end, but we're going to try and do whatever we can here for that. But that's an amazing foundation and what he does for charity. And Khalil Shakir, speaking to him, he is back as well in the lineup.
Huge. That's a player that is an extension of the running game to a certain extent. How many times they just spit out quick screens to him where like, hey, Khalil Shakir, can you turn a 0-yard gain into 5 or 6? That's essentially a run play in this Bills offense.
Right.
You can't lose that essence of it, especially if they're able to bottle up James Cook to a certain extent. I would personally like to see James Cook get involved more in terms of the intermediate and sometimes downfield portions of the game. There was a clip going viral this week of the Rams game where he had a nice little wheel route up the sideline and caught a pass 30 yards down the field. I would love to see that again. It's not like he can't do that. We have proof of concept that he can do that. I don't want to say on a consistent basis, but he has that in his tool belt. So I would just love to see Khalil Shakir get utilized in more areas of the field because he is a weapon whenever he has the ball in his hands.
All right, we're going to do it. I'm just going to take a timeout here for everybody because I think I have to switch one thing in a setting here for an audio, and I think we're going to be good after that. So I appreciate that. So I'm just going to end the stream. We're going to start right over again with another. We're going to transition, talk a little college football. My guy, Carl Jones here from WIVB TV because we got Syracuse, got Ohio State, got to get to all that. So stay with us here on X at Cell Sports. I'm just going to end this stream and start another one here in about 2-3 minutes. Thanks a lot.